Hello everyone. We welcome you to the Voice of India Energy Leaders exclusive podcast series powered by the Energetica India Magazine at Intersolar India, and we have Mr. Balachandran with us, CEO Indosol. Sir, can you please explain the 1% audience from the solar industry who are joining to the solar who don't know who is Mr. Bala?
Yeah, so let me have a short introduction. So 20 years back, I had my PhD in semiconductor devices, worked almost 10 years in Europe, then later on joined Adani. I spent almost 5 years there, then 1 year at Vari, and then subsequently at Indosol from 2021. So I'm heading the complete operations now, and I'm extremely happy for invited for this nice podcast. Thank you.
Sir, you are most welcome for the show because the name itself reflects we are calling the voice of leaders, and you are one among the top leaders in the Indian industry who are making the industry to grow. So, sir, you are working since the industry is very niche in India, and now you are sitting on the very niche technology part, which is the need of the hour for the Indian market. And so, how do you suggest, like, if I'm going to start a manufacturing unit, so I need to select the raw material, and you are one of the you can share a best advice who can help those guys to run long for this particular domain.
So your question is mainly on the raw material part.
For the ingot wafer, that is
Okay.
more. That is the. I'm talking more about the solar modules.
Yeah. With respect to ingot wafer cell module, module is quite matured in India. We have almost 162 gigawatt of module manufacturing happening in India. The raw material ecosystem is quite okay with respect to module. However, with respect to ingot wafer cell, I would say that it is almost nil as of today. So we still have to depend on the Chinese market. We probably have to evaluate at least 10 to 15 vendors in China, and then choose the right one which actually satisfies our specifications, our technical capability and costing. But going forward, we need to have our own raw material ecosystem. Without that, it is very difficult to be globally competitive. So,
Great.
yeah.
Sir, like how Indosol is helping the Indian solar industry to taking to the next step?
Yeah. This is a very good question because we are in the market since 2022. Our parent company is Transformer Manufacturing. So, Mr. Vishweshwar Reddy is the chairman of this organization. He had a very great vision in one of the participation in tenders. I mean, they are quite good in transformer manufacturing sector. And then at some point, he started thinking that to go for backward integration. So initial his plan was only to set up module manufacturing like many other manufacturers. But then he realized that just by setting the module manufacturing, things are not going to happen in a great way. The vision is to set up the entire ecosystem, that means from polysilicon to ingot to wafer to cell to module. In the initial stages, we had quite a bit of challenges in the land acquisition, like many manufacturers. Finally, we got settled, and our 1 gigawatt ingot wafer cell module is going to be up and running from this May 2026, which is just 3 months away. Yeah, so we are on the almost on the final verges of starting up integrated PV manufacturing, which is a great thing in India at this point of time. I think we have only one company which is actually running ingot wafer cell module, which is Adani. And next to Adani, I think we will be the first ones to set up this integrated PV. So this is going to be a very great thing going forward. I think many companies will follow this trend.
So that is the need of the hour for the Indian market as well. So, sir, like you are setting up a very niche product that we are importing from the China right now.
Yeah.
So what key challenges do you face during the setting up of these facilities?
Yeah. Setting up is a, I mean, there are not just one or two challenges, I would say 100 challenges, but key challenges, first thing is land acquisition. If you are really thinking of a long term, and if you are really thinking of a bigger ecosystem from raw materials to production and everything, setting up your own townships, then you need a huge chunk of land. That is one major bottleneck still in India. Second bottleneck is the capex. The capex for the manufacturing, especially ingot wafer cell, of course polysilicon is also very huge. So getting the right capex at the right time is another challenge. Then interests. The bank interests are quite huge. See, when you compare with Chinese Chinese government and Indian government, if you see the loans, the interest, actually you get it within 4-5% in China. Here it is minimum 10 to 11%. It's almost the double. And next to that, for module manufacturing, the skills are not very much essential, especially considering the current robotic manufacturing. So, but however, in case of ingot wafer cell, where there is lot of process technology is involved, you need lot of skills, which is still missing, and lot of training has to happen. Next to that, power. Power is a very crucial thing in India because, of course, these days we don't usually get that much amount of power cuts in our home. But when it comes to industry, you need a dedicated feeder 24/7. A simple 1 second failure of power can cost you crores of rupees in ingot wafer cell manufacturing. So that is extremely essential. I think these are key challenges we are still facing, but yeah.
So like you have already mentioned the major challenges. If I just want to elaborate all the challenges a bit from your side, that could help the industry also to understand. Like you said, industry also looking forward to coming up with this kind of the solutions for the near future, to becoming India as a exporter of the technology instead of only the manufacturer. So like if I'll start with capex, so if you can suggest a bit about how much investments do we looking to start something initially, not with big facility, or just for a small, or just to enter into the market.
Correct. See, I would suggest that for the new entrants, it is better that they come up with a small pilot line. They can learn the problems that they can face with the pilot line. Pilot line still is 1 gigawatt, I would say. So you need to have at least 1 gigawatt of ingot wafer cell module to start with. So for this, actually, your question is related to capex, right?
Capex.
So approximately these days, for a gigawatt of module, it is approximately $6 million. For a cell line, 28 to 30 million dollars, depending on whether you wanted a AGV or still a bit of manual line. More the automation is better. You can have better yields, better process control. For an ingot wafer is also around $30 million. This is only for the equipment capex. On top of that, you may have to spend, if you are setting up 1 gigawatt of ingot wafer cell module, approximately 600 crores is needed for your own utilities itself. And then on top of that, land cost, then civil costs.
That's a really big chunk of amount that somebody has to invest initially.
Yes.
Then going with the next step, that is the land acquisition.
Yeah.
That's a big challenge in India. Of course, everybody knows. And how do you suggest, like in terms of selecting the geography, because India have different geography in the different region, and selecting the particular geography for this particular facility. So do you have any kind of experience that you suggest over here?
Yeah, sure. Two things I would say is major thing that we have to look, especially as a manufacturer. One is do not look at a place where the land you get it for cheap. I would recommend that go for a place where you get which government gives you the least power. Because with respect to module, the power consumption is very less. But if you go for cell and more for ingot and wafer, your 30% of the cost itself on the OPEX side, 30% of your cost is power.
Oh my God.
It's huge. So do not look at a place where you get the land 1 lakh or 2 lakh or 3 lakh cheaper, but go for a place where you get the power cheaper, which will be satisfying your long-term goal. Second one, if you really want to build multi-giga facility, you have to look for a place near to your coastal. The reason is that although there is a huge amount of river, lakes, ponds everywhere available, anywhere in India, but there is always a problem with respect to your climate and things like that. You don't know which year there will be more rains, which year there is going to be a drought. And the plant should not stop just because you don't have water. So that's a crucial thing. So for that, if you set up your plant anywhere near to your coastal region, then you can desalinate it and then use that as a raw water to supply your factory. Also, after effluent treatment, you can send the water back to the sea. So for sea discharge, so you can take and then give it back. That's a very good strategy that people have to look, especially people who are building at least 5-6 gigawatt of ingot wafer cell. That's a very critical thing that they have to look, because most of the people they go for a speed decision of going for where the land is cheaper, but later on, if you are put up in a landlocked area where there is not much water, not electricity, then there is a huge problem. So I would say focus on your power cost and where water is available in plenty, anywhere near the coastal region.
Yes, of course, because we are setting up the future technology,
Yes.
which is the renewables.
Yeah.
And if we're not focusing on ourselves, like not going with the renewables in terms of using the water,
Yeah.
so that's a challenge for the coming days for
Correct.
ourselves.
Correct.
And sir, like you said, like going for any ingot wafer or any of the technologies that we are going with right now, which is very rare in India. So if in case we are going with the facility, so what you suggest, like the power is you said that power is the most important thing. So how do we get that kind of power and regular power? That's a challenge, like you said, in CNI market. It's really much the biggest challenge. So are we consuming the renewable power or are we still dependent on the coal?
Yeah. See, this is a very good question. I'm going to tell you what we wanted to do actually, what Indosol wants to do. Of course, in the initial days, you still have to depend on your national grid. There is no other option at this point of time. But then, going forward, for even more reliable power and to reduce the cost, you should have your own set up your own renewable park to solarify or electrify your own factories. This will also reduce the cost on a long-term basis. Of course, the capital expenditure is huge, similar to your rooftop, but still, on a long-term basis, if you think of 10 or 20 years, this will reduce your cost.
That's a really much important for everybody
Yes.
to look out.
Correct.
And sir, nowadays we are seeing as the technology is growing and technology is also evolving. TopCon, then HJT, then we are working on the other technologies. So how are you coping up with those challenges? Because you are now coming up with the brain or the main heart of the module. So what do you suggest like on this part for the Indian market?
I think this is a very hot topic. Everybody is a little bit worried, especially the new manufacturer. When he is coming inside, he wants to know what should I go with, whether it's TopCon or HJT or tandems, perovskites, back contact. So many options are available. what they have to look at it is a long-term strategy. See, if you go to various industrial reports, you still see that TopCon is going to be the major horse drive for at least next 7 to 8 years. And we are still at a stage where TopCon is not fully mature. Our Indian manufacturing, if you set up a TopCon line, you can expect 25 to 25.5% efficiency. And the potential is close to 28%. Okay, so this is still going to take at least another 3.5 years to reach that potential. And then the saturation happens, then people can think about what will be the next. I would suggest that for a new entrant, this is safe bet, it is cost effective, and you can sell your module very easily because most people still prefer TopCon.
Of course, yesterday we had a discussion with one of the veteran also. I was discussing like India has different geography, like I asked you. So he suggested me with the different geographies, TopCon is the best
Correct.
to go with.
Yes.
Because if we are setting up a facility in Gujarat and I'm selling in J&K, complete different geography, complete different scenario. So TopCon produce the highest in terms of the compared to the other technologies as well available with us. So that can rely long.
Correct.
So that is important for every newcomer and everybody who is working right now on the TopCon because they are also worried about the technology.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So so to reach that potential, full potential, it's going to take a lot of time. So people don't have to worry. The only thing that they need to worry is how soon I can get into the market. And that is where actually every Indian manufacturer is lagging.
Yeah.
They take a lot of time in the decision. The speed of execution is extremely important. Take the case of China. If they want to set up a 1 gigawatt of ingot wafer cell module, they come in 8 months. In India, typically it takes about at least 15-16 months, almost double the time.
So that's a challenge also for the Indian market players and looking out with the scenario with the global market.
Yeah.
So sir, if we compare ourselves with the global market in terms of the technology we are setting up over here in India, how do you suggest, like, are we able to match that technology or are we going beyond those technologies?
Yeah. I think I can tell you what we are planning to do at Indosol. You need to have some global collaborations. For example, we have an ongoing collaboration with Australian National University with a very famous solar cell research group. So, of course, your equipment supplier is going to give you a KPI, a certain efficiency level, but beyond that, if you want to go beyond that, actually, over and above, the incremental efficiencies that you can get from after running the cell line, after your SAT is signed, then you need to have a global collaboration. It can be with Australian National University, it can be ISC Constance, ISC Fraunhofer, so many organizations are available. They help you for this. So this is very much essential and every manufacturer has to think about it.
The most important question across the industry that is coming, the skill. That's the challenge everybody is facing.
Yeah.
So can you please share your experience, because you are working on a very niche technology.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about the ingot or wafer, as of now we have almost 1 or 2% skill ready for this particular domain. So as we are proceeding for 2030, it's expected that 3 million jobs will be there from the renewable industry, and this is very niche. So I'm just keeping it around 2 to 5% in that particular number.
Yeah.
So if you can suggest, like, what challenges are you facing and what is your message to the students or the players who are listening us to making themselves prepare for this technology?
Yeah, I want to mention 2-3 things here. Skilling happens with continuous training. So what we normally do is we go for at least 3-4 days of classroom training, and then we let them inside the shop floor immediately for on-job training. So this on-job training will happen for at least 6 months. And then after they complete this on-job training, there will be a assessment, there will be an oral assessment, there will be a written assessment, and then they need to secure at least 70%. to ensure that they continue the job with us. So with this, actually we are able to train them properly, and people are also taking seriously. And then we also need to show them the path that after 1 year of completion, if you perform at this level, then you will be promoted as this one. After second year, this one, and third year is this
So
one.
there are certain milestones that you are
Exactly,
setting up for
yes.
those guys to get them motivated.
Correct.
Yeah, that's
But
important.
but more than the problem, skilling and training, the major challenge that we actually face is retaining the people.
Of course.
Retaining, especially at this point of time, people literally jump every 3-4 months. Once they finish the training, once they get into the on-roll part, they immediately start searching. They think that 6 months of training is good enough for them to
Now to setting
yeah.
up the
and more problematic situation is these days, unfortunately, the designations don't have any value. Something like an engineer is directly becoming a manager. Manager is becoming a VP in 3-4 years.
This is somewhere we are losing the credibility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's a challenge across the industry we are facing.
Correct.
This is, I could say, the Gen Zs nowadays
Yeah.
are
Very smart.
they are
but-
taking change is more important than the
Exactly.
staying with the things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really big challenge that everybody
Yeah.
is facing across the, I can say, tech sector, not
Yeah.
in solar, but
Yeah.
across the sectors
Yeah.
that we are facing. So that is important, because if you are losing your credibility on the certain time period, you will not understand what all technology, what all the relations,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
all
Correct.
the connections
Yeah.
pay you for the long run.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's a challenge. Like we
Yeah.
also observe that across the industry, that is
Yeah.
everywhere. So
Yeah.
that's really important. Like
So for youngsters, I have 2-3 messages. For especially people who are really at the joining stage, they really have to be inquisitive. They have to question themselves what they are doing, why they are doing, so that they can come up with their own ideas. So this is very important, and they need to stay with the company. I'm not talking about 10 years, 20 years, 30 years like what used to happen in our father's days. I'm only asking them to stay at least for 2-3 years to understand the end-to-end completely. But staying for like a few months is not going to help them. I mean, after 2-3 years, they will get into a big problem.
yes, that's everybody's because we had a discussion with other veterans also. They also suggest in India nowadays skill is not a problem. Retention is a big challenge.
Exactly. Yeah.
So retention is somewhere like everybody is facing. So the skill development programs that is going on, there everybody have to talk about the retentions also. Like
Yeah.
you said,
Correct.
at least stay with the company or with the technology.
Yeah.
At least for 2-3 years,
Correct.
just to understand,
Exactly.
just to make yourself mug up with the what the trends,
Correct.
who all are, what
Correct.
we are doing, what all the things there.
Yeah.
So that will help them in their future also.
Yes.
That's of course important
Yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah.
And sir, just you are one of the leaders, so keeping yourself update, what do you suggest the industries event like this, or there are certain media who are making the global collaborations on the paper and sharing the policies, technology. So what you suggest, like
Yeah.
which media and kind of the events?
Yeah,
you
yeah. So I think the technical conferences, exhibitions, podcasts like this, and then the individual also has to take a lot of efforts in reading, especially if he wants to focus on technology, he should focus on lot of research related articles on what exactly is happening. That will be really helpful for him to apply this in his own shop floor. So it's not just reading one magazine or going to one exhibition, but he has to do everything. This is what I would suggest.
And sir, your thoughts on the Energetica so far? You've been in industry and
Yeah.
we are also there for last 10 years in the Indian market.
Yeah.
So if you can share something.
Sure. Yeah. I have only one suggestion. I think you've been doing very good in terms of module manufacturing, but now that the ingot wafer cell is also picking up, I think you should also start focusing on those kind of articles. That will be really make your magazine more up to date and more trending.
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for sharing your updates and your one key message to the youngsters who are coming as a entrepreneurs and who are joining the companies also, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's
Okay.
if you can share one message
Yeah.
to all.
For entrepreneurs, they have to focus on the product quality, not on the costing from day one. If they automatically focus on the product quality, within 2-3 years, your cost will automatically fall down. That is the one key thing I wanted to tell all the entrepreneurs. Don't focus on the costing from day one. Costing is very, very important, especially solar, because the entire industry is driven by the cost, not even on the technology. The technology can be successful only if it satisfies the costing as well.
Okay.
So costing is important, but the focus should be more on the product quality. Then only we can reach the global stage.
Okay.
That is very important. And for the people who are joining, yes, the important thing that they need to focus is not just stay in one field. Let's say if somebody is doing in the production or maintenance or quality, they need to try to see what is actually happening in the entire spectrum. They have to focus on procurement, they have to see what is happening in sales, what is happening in technology, because your thought process keeps changing. And you, as of today, you might be doing something in the production or maintenance, but at some point you can have a better vision in some other field as well. So you need to be very open in that. Try to be learning everything, so that at some point of time they will be very useful.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts
Yeah.
and for joining us for this particular podcast.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Hemant.
And this is your friend Hemant. We are signing off for the day. Thank you so much.